Thank you for joining us for this month's edition of About Business, your community show to find out about Arlington businesses, business leaders, and issues that affect our business community. On this month's show, we'll chat with Angela Brown, Financial Center Manager for First Tennessee Bank here in Arlington. Stay tuned. Angela, thank you for joining me today on this edition of About Business.
Thank you for having me, Tonia. Happy to be here.
It's an honor. So I like to start off, we all started in high school, so briefly tell me your path from high school to where you are today.
From high school to where I am today, I grew up a military child, so I did a lot of traveling. But I graduated from Enterprise High School, I won't say what year, and I went to Auburn University after that.
War Eagle.
Yes.
Okay.
And from there, I have a background in musical theater, which is kind of random from what I'm doing today. And I moved to Chicago. I thought I'm going to go to the big city, so I moved to Chicago for a year, and I traveled and taught choreography for competitive show choirs and dance teams and Broadway shows. After that, the cold was too much. The novelty of the cold wore off. And my dad, even though we traveled around a lot for the military, was from Memphis. So I decided I'll move to Memphis. It's not a small town, Alabama. It's not the big city, but it was a big city with a small town feel, which I loved.
Just right.
Yes, it reminded me of home a lot. And I had lots of family here, so I came here. And my aunt manages a barbecue restaurant. So I didn't know what I was going to do. I had my college degree. I worked at the barbecue restaurant for a while and applied for jobs. I started working at a small loan firm. I did that for 7 years. And then I ended up at First Tennessee. And now here I am today.
Right here in Arlington, Tennessee?
Right here in Arlington, Tennessee.
So at one of the newest branches that First Tennessee Bank has.
Yes.
It's a beautiful branch,
Thank
too.
you. I know they put a lot of thought into that.
And I love it. And I love particularly the Arlington mural at the bank. That's what a nod to the community. That's great.
Yes.
So one of the buzzwords in the business world right now is workforce development. And that's so important because there are so many open positions, people looking for good folks. So how do you recruit employees and how do you develop them and keep them?
Okay. Me personally, for what I do, it's more customer service based. I look out everywhere, whether I'm drinking coffee at Crave across the street, whether I'm shopping anywhere. To me, it's all about the smile. It's all about the personal interaction. I challenge people to not put themselves in a bubble and think, I have to know about banking in particular to be a banker. It's about people, and it's about personality.
Because you might know about music theater.
I knew nothing about banking. And a funny story actually is, I was working, I was actually bartending part-time while I was working my other job. I'm a single parent of 2 kids, so I had a part-time job. And a guy approached me and he said, what do you do? I told him I worked in finance. And he said, I would like for you to give me a call. And he gave me his card. I called him the next day, and it was the CEO of First Tennessee Bank. I knew nothing about banking. And just from that unique, personal, customer service experience, now here I am today. So I look personally outside of the banking world. I know First Tennessee as a whole, we have an internal website where people can go and apply. We have recruiters that go out to college fairs and high school fairs that really kind of look to people who are interested in banking, and we kind of filter from there.
So depending in regards to your retention of your employees, what about customers? I know that's important. You want to retain those relationships. So talk to me about customer feedback and how important that is to what you do.
Customer feedback is huge. And what a lot of people don't realize is we get every survey that's filled out from my center, from the Arlington Financial Center, comes across my desk, and I read every single survey. I try to call back people that have had an issue, whether it's good or whether it's bad. So I always challenge people, when you see that survey in your email box, or when you get a receipt and it has a survey on the bottom, fill it out, because it's not going to be thrown in the trash. I used to think that. I used to think my survey is going to go up into outer space and nobody's ever going to see it. But we really, really take to heart what our customers feel and how they feel, whether it be a good experience or a bad experience, and that helps us figure out what we need to do.
And I guess you're looking for trends.
Yes, we're looking for trends. Like recently we had a trend with the online banking. You know, everybody was saying the online banking was difficult, and it came across more than once. So then that let me know I need to train my people more into making sure that every customer that sits at their desk understands how to work the online banking. And now that has I've seen less of that in the surveys.
Not just in the banking industry, but across the board in business, but it could be banking industry. What do you consider 2 or 3 of the greatest risks for the business community?
I think for sure the biggest risk is technology. You know, technology is ever changing. I remember when, like, the thought now that you can take a picture on your phone, it has completely wiped out the camera industry. Nobody buys a camera anymore. And I remember when the first cell phone came out, I never thought in a million years that I would ever be able to take a picture on my phone and send it to Walgreens. Do people even get pictures developed anymore? I don't know if that's even a thing, but I remember when the cameras came out and they were $300 for the digital cameras, and then those have completely wiped out. So you have to make sure that the business is staying on top of the technology trends, because it's really, really changing quickly. Speaking of change, another one is change. Businesses have to be able to adapt and move forward, because you have to think about Netflix and Blockbuster. You know, Blockbuster refused to change with the industry, and now they're not here anymore.
And so as an employee, we all have to be adaptive too.
Yes.
Because, you know, we can't just think we're always going to do things the way that we have. When we come back, we're going to do some quick questions and answers with Angela. Thanks for tuning in.
On top of first-class care, you will never receive a bill. The only thing we had to worry about was just keeping Azalea comfortable.
I was told we wouldn't get a bill. I didn't quite process that. How's this possible? It's possible through all the wonderful people who donate.
Para mí lo que la gente hace, consolidarse con la causa que tiene San Jude, tiene nombre y se llama Sebastián.
It's pretty amazing when you consider that 7 years ago, we didn't have the treatments we have now. We cure 80% of children with cancer. If you think about that, I mean, go back 50 years, we were curing 20 to 30%. This is the miracle story of modern medicine.
The research here is research that we share with everyone else, because overall we want to help all children that have cancer. What makes that possible is people that give to St. Jude. They really help us to fulfill our mission, and we're so grateful to have them on our team.
Welcome back. So more with Angela Brown, the manager of the Financial Center at Arlington First Tennessee Bank. So again, thank you for being here. So I'm going to give you some quick statements, and you go and talk about what you'd like to on them. So social media versus social skills.
I love social media. You know, I was there with the birth of social media. I was one of Facebook's very first members back when you had to have a college email address to even join. But I think I'm lucky because I was in the age where I remember before social media and after social media. So my social skills are still there. But it's very important that people still are able to talk one-on-one. They're able to resolve problems face-to-face. And so there's that fine line of it taking over your life and you still being able to communicate face-to-face.
And make eye contact.
And make eye contact.
That's
yes,
right.
You're not down on your phone like this all the time.
I know. Okay, Arlington business community is?
It's growing. It's growing. It's very community oriented. The Arlington community loves to do business with people in Arlington, and I can see that when I go to the square, when I go to the local coffee shops, and every time you turn a corner, there's a new business coming up. So it's very exciting. It's an exciting time to be a business owner in Arlington.
It is. Okay, you talked about it some, but technology.
Technology is changing. It's changing every day. It's taking over the world right now. A lot of people don't realize that sometimes when you chat, online with, say you're on AT&T and you want to ask them a question about your account, that's a robot on the other side that's responding to your message. So technology is it's changing so rapidly, it's hard to be able to see where it's even going.
How have you seen it change in the banking industry just in the last few years?
Oh, wow. I mean, from the mobile apps, now there are some ATMs where you go to the ATM and there is a person in the ATM. We're seeing less and less foot traffic now, which makes those one-on-one interactions when somebody does come in so valuable because you don't see them that often. Everybody's doing everything on their phone. You can deposit everything through the ATM. And it's a very competitive industry, so it's hard. You have to make sure that you're keeping up with the big chases of the world, that have that high technology.
Okay, so what's your secret sauce?
That's a funny question that you asked, but I would like to say my personality, I think. I'm a people person. It's all about, I really try to take every situation thinking, how can I add value to this situation? How can I add value to this person? Did I make this person feel good? I think about those things when I leave, and I think that helps make a difference.
Okay. So if you could take a minute and look in your crystal ball, what do you think is the next big thing? In business in general or in the banking business?
I think robots, like I was just saying about the chatting on the other side. The artificial intelligence, you can see it's taking over jobs, which is unfortunate, but there are warehouses that are being cleaned out because robots are actually doing their job, and I think it's only going to become just like the cell phone. When the cell phone first came out, you couldn't take a picture, you could barely text, and robots are just beginning. So you can imagine, think about the course of the way the cell phone has changed, how robots are going to take over the world.
So what is it that in the morning when you get up makes it worthwhile, that you're excited to go into the office, and what do you think about?
I think about the people that I get to help every day. I love my job because I don't know who's going to walk through the door. I've met so many wonderful people in this community since I've been here. I have the picture of my two girls sitting beside me, so I think it makes me excited for them that I get to get up and go to work and provide for them. I think about making a difference. Who can I add value to today? Whose life can I change? And we're not just bankers, like I tell people. We really try to help in any way we possibly can. We look at your whole financial situation and see what advice we can give, whether it's at First Tennessee that we can help you or we have to send you somewhere else. But it really puts a smile on your face when you know that you've helped somebody.
So one of the things I like to talk about, because we are working with students here at Arlington High School, but if you could tell your younger self something, if you could give your younger self some advice, what would you say?
A lot of things, but probably the biggest for the stage of my life that I'm in right now is that you're going to fail. There are going to be times that you're going to fail, and it's okay to fail. You get up, you dust yourself off. It's not the end of the world. I remember there were times that things didn't go my way, and I just thought that, the world was going to come to an end. And you know what? The sun rises the next day. It wakes up, and then there's other opportunities. Also, to be self-aware. There's times, as I've gotten older, I've had conversations with people from years past that you may run into, and people may say, you made me feel this way when this happened, and I wasn't self-aware that that was an issue. So I really would tell myself to be more self-aware about my intentions and my actions.
One of the things you said earlier talked about not knowing exactly where the path would take you, and I think it's important for high school students today to understand, learn all you can about learning, because what you think you're going to major in and do for the rest of your life, it could be like Blockbuster and be gone, but you might have a different opportunity.
You may.
Don't you think that's true?
It is very true, and it's very important, like you said, to keep your options open. It's important to know that you don't know everything, and find somebody a little bit older and a little bit wiser that you can trust, and that can help guide you through those decisions, more of a mentorship that will help you when you can't help yourself.
Well, thank you, Angela, for
Thank
being
you
with
for
us
having
today.
me.
Really enjoyed getting the opportunity to talk to you. And you can go visit Angela at the Arlington First Tennessee branch on Airline Road and Highway 70. We'll be right back.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter, your religion or, what part of the world you're from, that just sort of all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
Yo siento que soy parte de esa bendición que ese niño recibió al irse a su casa ya sanado.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Just some dates for your calendar so that you can take part in some of the fun things in Arlington. This summer we'll be having the Music on the Square series. It's always the third Saturday of the month, and you can look for more information on the Music on the Square Facebook page, Arlington Music on the Square, or on the Town of Arlington website, and you can catch those dates. I hope you'll join us for some of those concerts. They're free to the community. What a good time down in the square. A couple other dates to put on your calendar. The Arlington 5K is Saturday, September 7th. Proceeds from the 5K support Arlington Community Schools. Information about that will be on the Chamber website as we get closer. The Arlington Barbecue Fall Fest, great community event in Arlington, is Friday, October 18th. This community event boasts over 60 barbecue teams, and it's a qualifying event for the Memphis Barbecue Network. All of these community events are sponsored by the Chamber, and more details will be on the Chamber website as we get closer to these events. That's all for this edition of About Business. Due to the summer vacation at the high school, we'll take a break for the next couple of months, but be sure to tune in August for our first show of the school year. Have a great summer, and thanks for joining us.